What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk yet again about Batman in Gotham Knights, but I want to try and take a different approach, try and do a different kind of video than the ones I've done before, and talk about how we need to be careful about this, and that's probably the best way that I can say it, because I do want to address a couple things with this video, okay? And honestly, I've said it before, I try to see all sides of something, and for this honestly is a good example, because while I personally believe Batman is still going to be in this game. I think you at some point are going to, whether you play as him or whether he's just going to appear in the story more than what they're leading on, not just in flashbacks. I know some people have said, well, maybe they could do flashbacks with training. I think that is very possible and very likely, but at the same time, I do think it's also likely that he appears by the end of the game. While I think that doesn't mean everybody has to. That doesn't mean that I'm right, you're wrong, or you're right, I'm wrong, okay? We can, again, all have a difference of opinions, but what I do want to try and say is I want to try and make this a video for everybody by saying this, okay? Number one, I think what's important to note here is we do have to keep our expectations, which I know you could be saying, me talking about expectations, that's funny, right? But we do have to keep our expectations in check. This is a game that I think if we go in it the wrong way, and by the way, I'm not talking about the RPG mechanics, I'm not talking about the other stuff I've talked about, just Batman. If we go in thinking the wrong thing with Batman, which we have the right to, but if we do, we could very well end up being very crushed or disappointed by this game, one way or the other. If you are going in saying, thank God, a game without Batman, not Arkham, so it shouldn't have him, let's experience it, oh, and God dang it, they put him in it. You know what I mean? If you go in thinking that, then you could be disappointed in that way. If you go in thinking, even how I've said over the past couple days, if you go in thinking there's just no way he's dead, he's got to be in this game, you don't do a Bat Family, you don't do Court of Owls without him, oh my God, he actually wasn't in this game. Well, I'm so mad, I'm so disappointed. So you see what I mean? This is a video for both of those sides because it depends on how you go into it. So I do want to address both sides. Let's start with the, I guess, conspiracy aspect of the fact that he, could he be in this game? Could he be a Talon? Could he be dead and the Court of Owls are bringing him back? Could he be stuck in the maze? Could, whatever. Is that possible? I really think it is. I really, really think it's possible that, again, he's either dead and they'll bring him back, which is something that they have been known to do, or he's just kind of been tortured and brainwashed to be a Talon. Maybe he'll be like the final boss battle, or maybe he'll be a boss battle 3/4 of the way in the game. Is that possible? Absolutely. All of those things I do think are honestly not just possible, but I would even go so far to say likely. Now, again, if it doesn't happen, am I going to throw a tantrum? Maybe. I probably shouldn't, though, right? And again, that is kind of the main point of this, is I think we have to keep our expectations in check. For what it's worth, they've told us he's not in the game. Now, we can look at that different. For the conspiracy, again, thinking about it just in the terms of, okay, are they liars? Are they saying it to kind of divert our thoughts and to try and get us away from it? Okay, thinking about it from that angle, what can we say? Well, they've said numerous times, even in the GameSpot interview, right? So they said, so the Batman thing, Bruce Wayne is dead. Are we talking dead, undercover dead, Lazarus Pit dead? What kind of dead are we talking about? Redding says dead. And then they say dead? And then Redding says he's dead. He's dead from the start of the game. So it's fair to say that Bruce Wayne Batman will not be in this game. Not playable. Now, it's funny that they say he's not playable. They don't. In fact, that's the first time I ever read it like that. I've read this article a couple times now. Why? I don't know why they said that. Then she says, yeah, no, only characters that you can play as are Batgirl, Robin, Red Hood, and Nightwing. Now, again, that's actually funny they say that, because the running theory is, oh, he's embedded in the Court of Owls. Right, sure. No, we all see the theories, but yeah, no, he's dead. And now in the IGN interview, they also talked about how this is a unique story, a story of their own. Again, I've talked about where we've seen that before. I saw some people trying to defend the Arkham Knight thing. I mean, no, look, I mean, that was a lie. Like, they lied to you, but they lied to you, again, not in a malicious way, and they didn't lie to me in a malicious way. They lied because they're not going to tell you who the Arkham Knight is leading into the game. That would ruin that would ruin the entire thing. My best example, and there's plenty of others, by the way, but my best example of gaming developers lying to you is when Naughty Dog said that you won't play as Ellie in The Last of Us. Okay, now that is flat out a lie. In fact, even let's go to Last of Us Part 2 with Ellie and with Naughty Dog in general. Think about what they did with The Last of Us Part 2. Their entire marketing thing with those early trailers was a lie to get you to think the story was going one way when it actually went, to not spoil it, but they tricked us. So gaming developers, again, lie all the time. I think that's honestly there's two things. The first thing is it's very important to note that just because they say it does not mean it's true. I know that maybe could be divisive. I know maybe not everybody would agree with that, but I can give you more examples. Give me some time. I'll give you as many examples as you want. Countless times game developers lie. They lie to keep secrets because they don't want to. The same thing with movies. You don't want to spoil the main thing about your thing, your property. You're not going to tell people that before it's out. Otherwise, you ruin the entire thing, right? So I will say that, okay? Just because they say it does not mean that it's actually true. Another thing is, yes, they keep saying he's dead, but then also they say, will he not be in this game? And they say he's not playable, which does kind of indicate that, well, firstly, he could be dead, but he could just be, being brought back to life. So they didn't address that. And secondly, they say he's not playable, but they didn't say he's not in this game. In fact, he is in the game. The question is, how much is he in the game, right? So we'll have to see. Again, can we kind of read into that? Maybe. Now, here's another thing, okay? Now, here's on the reverse side. With all of that being said, I do want to, one, give kind of a credit or like a nod to the other side of things. And also, though, try to not lower expectations, but make sure we're all on the same page here, because while I am a person who believes he's in the game and alive, or maybe not alive, but he'll come back, while I do believe that, okay, and I made the video, and I see a lot of people thinking that, I know in this interview, and you could see on like social media, so many people that work for Warner Bros. Montreal, by the way, they're all like tweeting back to this article saying like, yep, absolutely dead. Like everybody is in full, I don't know, not necessarily like damage control, but like kind of that, but in terms of like, we're going to make it very evident to people that he's dead. So again, if he actually is dead and he's not in this game, I do think there's something to be said there, and there's something that we all have to just be okay with, I feel like. Now, what I will say is this. You have every right, by the way, to be upset. If he's dead, he's not in the game, you were going in expecting him to be in the game, I mean, yeah, you have every right to be upset, but you have to understand, and this is where the really big important note comes, you need to understand that it's not as if they tricked you. It's not as if they lied to you. In fact, all of this stuff, what I think is kind of funny about it and fun and cool is at the best, they're lying to and trying to switch things to not ruin something exciting. On the other side, if it turns out to be true, then they have the proof that it's like, hey, I don't know why people are so upset that you can't play as Batman or Batman isn't in the game. We told you 100 times he's dead. In fact, we opened the reveal trailer saying he's dead. You know what I mean? So I do think that so again, to make it clear, to make sure like we're all careful about this Batman stuff, it is important that, for the people that think he's dead, he's not in the game, that's awesome, and you could very well be right. In fact, it's possible. It's very, very possible. If you think he's not dead and he is playable and he is at the end of the game and all this different kind of stuff, you could very well be right. Them saying one thing or the other right now means absolutely zero. You know what's important now is them talking about gameplay, is them talking about the leveling, the map, the skills, the gear, the mission structure. Those are the important things. Those are things they're not lying about. The story beats, they lie. Okay, that's just flat out what happens. Now, again, could these things turn out to be true? Absolutely. And that's what we all have to keep in our head. In fact, even like right now with me, that's what I'm doing, because at the end of the day, again, when we play this game, if Batman is truly gone, okay, someone like me who made a video, did pretty darn good, very popular, I need to be able to say, okay, you know what? Am I disappointed? I can't lie to people. I'm going to be transparent and say, yeah, I'm disappointed. Like, I would have liked it. But, then people would say, well, why'd you expect it from a non-Batman game? Well, again, are people not allowed to have theories? Are people not allowed to want something from a game? Okay, so that would be my response to that. But at the same time, I do have to understand and acknowledge that while I may be disappointed if it doesn't happen, or, while there could be honestly a huge army of people that are like, what in God's name did you really did it? You really didn't put Batman in the game. I'm so mad. I think there'll also be people that say, by the way, you know what? That's bold. I respect that. Good for you. But the people that are mad, I think we all would have to, and again, I can't predict if that's going to be me, but I think we'd all have to say, you know what? They told us that. That was the thing. Like, they literally made it very, very clear early on that he's gone. And so if they told the truth, which is funny, right, that we have to even argue if they're telling the truth or lying to us. But again, that's the gaming industry. If it turns out to be true, at least, we all have to kind of have that click on in our brain and say, well, you know what? We were warned. We were warned, because that, what I mean, that I feel like makes a certain segment of the fan base kind of look silly if that happens. You know what I mean? Even the people right now that are going around talking about, like, if there's no Batman in this game, like, that's a complete disaster. I mean, look, the game's just not for you, and that's completely okay. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's right ways to be upset and there's wrong ways. At the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to do it. You know what I mean? Be upset about literally anything you want. Completely up to you. But there are some things where it's like, well, them not doing Batman, like, I get it. I think it's a cool idea, and I think it can be done right. Does that mean it's a good thing? Does that mean they should have done it? That is where, see what I mean? That's where you argue. That's how I've kind of approached things, is you can be mad about whatever, but if you're mad about one thing, well, what about, like, if that was actually a good idea? Or what about if it's actually going to pull off? Because if the game sucks and the Gotham Knights have no personality, and it feels like you could play any of them and get the exact same story, and, like, you feel like that's lame and you want more, like, them to feel like actual people, you know what I mean? Like, if that doesn't work, then you attack then you say, you know what, this game would have been better if it did this and this instead of what it actually did. You know what I mean? But that's where I kind of approach it. So, guys, let me know. Again, do you think Batman's dead? Do you think Batman's alive? What do you think's going on with him? Do you see kind of what I'm saying? Like, do you see, could they be lying? Could they be telling the truth? If he's actually not in the game, is that going to be okay with you? All those different kind of things. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up, and I will continue doing these videos every couple days. I've seen some of your suggestions. I do want to talk about, like, Catwoman, DLC stuff, Suits, deluxe editions, all those kind of things. I do want to do videos for. A couple of my own ideas I want to sprinkle in there as well. Obviously, if there's any other news stories, leaks, rumors, all that kind of stuff, I'll, of course, cover that as well, okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on those videos.